Hello, I'm Councilmember Jennifer Mossotti, and today I'm here at the Lexington Mounted Patrol Unit headquarters located on West 6th Street. And with me today is Officer David Johnson, and David is with the Mounted Patrol. And David, can you tell me a little bit about the Mounted Patrol? I know it started in 1982, and maybe give me a little history on the unit and how many officers there are in the unit and so forth.
Well, our history, it was actually started just kind of like what's going on now. There's like kind of revitalization of downtown, and back in '82 they were kind of going through that same thing. There's a lot of building going on, and they wanted a police presence down there, and the cars going down, even though there was police down there, there wasn't that kind of one-on-one presence that they were kind of looking for. Well, someone had the great idea, you know, we're our horse capital of the world, why not have a mounted patrol unit? Right. So that first unit in 1982, they found an officer who was willing to ride a horse. They did a little summer stint to see how it would go. They got a Bobby Maxwell, used to run Sally Horse Vans. He volunteered to bring in a horse, meet the officer downtown every morning. Officer would take the horse, ride downtown for a shift, and then at the end of the shift, Mr. Maxwell would pick the horse up. That first summer, it got such an overwhelming reception from the community downtown. People loved seeing the horse. It grew to 5 officers within that first year, and it's kind of been going ever since.
So you're talking about mounted patrol. Obviously, these officers have to be police officers as well. So they're trained in the regular police unit, and then they come over here and take additional training. Is that how it works? Yeah,
absolutely. And that's why I get a lot of times, I get people coming up to me and say, "How can I be a mounted police officer?" It's like, well, the first thing you got to be is you want to be a police officer first. That's your core. That's what you got to be. You become a police officer first, and then if you want to get in horses, that's where you go.
You mentioned the word presence of mind. What kind of a horse do you have to have in order to deal with this type of thing? Because you're out in an environment where there's loud noises, there could be an accident at any time, you know, a horn is beeping, all kinds of different distractions. Obviously, you have to have a horse that is calm and quiet, and you know, that to me is huge. So tell me about the kind of horses you have here and what kind of horses, what kind of training you have to give them.
We look for special horses. The horses we look for here have to be able to put up with a lot, like you say. And Rookie's yelling right now, he wants to go show what he can do. Yeah, the horses we're looking for really a nice temperament as far as being calm and being able to accept what we're putting them through. All our training starts out very slow. We use positive reinforcement training. As a trainer, if I'm working with the horse and I do something to get that horse hurt, I'm breaking that bond. I'm showing him, oh, I thought I was going to get hurt. I was scared of that, and you just proved it to me. So we start out very slow and introducing them. And basically, I talk about a bubble system. We start out their bubble being very small, being the indoor riding arena. And I do a lot with that horse in there where he feels that's safe. And then I expand it to the park nearby. And then I expand it to the city streets nearby. And then I expand it to downtown. Our bubble begins bigger and bigger and bigger. And eventually it's a whole Fayette County. Right. But I can always go back. I can always go back to that safe spot where he knows he's safe and work back out. As far as
so it's a natural horsemanship type
exactly.
training.
Exactly. We moved to that about 12 years ago, that type of philosophy. And ever since then, our accidents went way down as far as officers getting injured. Our horses we used to have old horses that could do a lot of things. Well, now we have younger horses that can do, like instead of having a horse, well, yeah, he can do it because he's been working for 10 years. We have a horse like Rookie, a 4-year-old, that's within 6 months, 8 months, he's doing stuff that older horses were doing. So it's more of it was really not so much the horses changing our philosophy as riders and really becoming more horsemen than the horses, you know, just the horse being it.
So obviously you enjoy your job.
Oh, very much so. Greatest job in the world.
Well, that's great, and we really appreciate you working for us in the city, and I think, as you mentioned, as being the horse capital of the world, we're so fortunate to be able to have this unit, and hopefully we'll continue to do so. I think you said at one point there was 8 officers full-time?
The most we ever had was 10,
and
10, that was back in the
and now
early
we have
90s.
How many?
And right now we have 5 full-time, and we have 1 officer. It's a part-time rider with us.
I'd like to continue this interview with an officer that just has decided to come over from the regular unit, and he's been here about 5 months. And Sergeant Eckert, if you would join me. Hi, Sergeant. How are you?
How you doing?
Tell me why you decided to come over to the Mounted Patrol after being, how long have you been a regular police officer?
I've been with the force now 14 years.
So 14 years, and you decided that you want to come over and be in Mounted Patrol. And tell me why, and tell me what kind of a horse background you have.
Well, I don't have a whole lot of horse background. I really wanted to come over to the mounted unit because it's something that I've really wanted to do throughout my career. It's just like Officer Johnson said, it was difficult to actually get in because people get here, they like it so much that they just don't leave. So when it was very difficult to do so. When I had the horse background, I didn't have very much. I had maybe 2 years working in the stables and moving some horses around. I rode, for pleasure on trail rides and stuff like that, but never in this kind of a setting. And so I really, really wanted to come over and try to get a little bit more and kind of improve that, but it always has appealed to me.
So what have you had to do to prepare to come over here to be a Mounted Patrol officer?
Well, we do a lot of training. We go through a 10-week training course once we get into the unit, but our training always continues. There's a basic that we build the basis for natural horsemanship, and we do a lot of different kind of programs, but most of it is that. I mean, we go with the Pirelli and try to work with that as well, the groundwork, and get the horses to trust us, and then we work into the riding. But like I said, it's a 10-week training program to start off, but it never stops. I mean, training always continues.
I'm very familiar with natural horsemanship, and I think I'm a believer in it because it does mutual respect for you and the horse, and it takes away that fear.
Right, yeah.
For sure.
Well, and it's us and the horse working together as a team, as opposed to just kind of just using an animal for a task. We're working together as a team. The horse trusts us. We trust the horse.
Develop a bond.
We develop a bond. That's correct.
And so when you're downtown and someone's blowing that horn, or you're at UK games and somebody's throwing some kind of a firecracker or whatever, how do you deal with situations like that?
Well, we just have to remain calm in that situation because the horse can feed off your emotions as well, and he ends up trusting us when we ask him to do something then because we've developed that bond. So once we do that, and we're asking him to go in those situations, and we're asking him to deal with those situations where horses are naturally flight animals. If we can get him to trust us, then they'll just stand right where we need them to stand.
Now, every horse is different. They all have a different personality. Sometimes they have good days like people, and sometimes they have bad days. What specific breed do you look for as far as a typical horse to work here?
The kind of breed of horse that we have in the barn now are Percheron thoroughbred crosses. Now, we do have one full-bred Percheron, but we look for one with a good, solid, mild temper, one that's not real flighty. I mean, I'd venture to say that if a lot of the horses that we try to bring in as police horses, they usually wash out in our training program, and we put them through a really rigorous testing process to make sure that they can handle the horns beeping, the jackhammers going, the big cement concrete trucks going down the street.
Sure.
There's a lot of stuff that we do to make sure that they can adapt to those situations before we even get them out on the street. As Officer Johnson said, we start off with a small bubble and work it out until they get accepting of all of it. And if they can handle that, then they're definitely fit to be a police horse.
And I've seen these horses, and they're not small horses. What's the average size of these horses?
Our average size has went to, I think it would probably be about 16'3" hands tall. Now, our biggest horse is 18'1".
They're big.
Yeah, they're big.
I know that.
They're very big, yes.
And
I know.
And they have to have a presence, obviously.
The 18'1" guy is about 6'3", 6'4" at the withers. So, I mean, he's a pretty tall fella.
You need a step ladder to get on him, don't you?
Yeah, you definitely need a mounting block for sure.
Are you enjoying yourself here?
Oh, yes. And it is one of the best jobs that I've ever had. I mean, it really is a good job.
Well, I do appreciate your service, and thank you so much for being here today.
You're welcome. Thank you.
What we're going to do next is we're going to look at Officer Johnson working with Rookie, a 4-year-old Percheron thoroughbred cross, and doing some groundwork just to let you know some of the exercises that the horses have to work with, and how the officer works with him to get him relaxed and get him trained so he can participate in all different kinds of aspects of crowd control, working with people in different situations and different locations.
So Rookie here is 4 years old, and he's really a cool horse. We actually got him from Asbury, so he's got a really good foundation. It's Asbury police mounts. They train mounts with the idea of selling them to police departments. And we've had Rookie now since, I believe, May, and he's really doing good. Like I say, he had a lot of this stuff I'm showing you. he has the foundation of that. When he was, when they first got him, he was a yearling, so they've worked with him through all this stuff, which makes my job so much easier and transitioning quicker to going out. And he's a 4-year-old, so he's still playful, and he's still
4 years old. You know, that's a pretty young horse to start on this. But I understand what you were saying. I just, you know, 4 years old is like a 4-year-old child almost. You know, they've got a lot
People
to
know about horses. When you say 4-year-old, it gets their attention.
It does.
People don't know about horses. They're just like, oh, he's young.
Right.
You know, it's. Or like, how much is that in dog years?
Now, this is a different kind of a halter. This is a natural halter,
Yeah,
as opposed to the leather halters. And then you have the lunge line, or no, I'm sorry,
It's a yacht line.
the yacht line to work with them, and which is and these knots are different pressure points, correct?
Yeah, and the whole idea is in all our training, just like any kind of horse, it's pressure on, pressure off. When the horse responds, he like really likes you. When the horse responds properly, the pressure comes back off. So what I do is I start something like on this tarp with him. And so what I'm going to do is I'm going to, well, he.
Good morning.
I'm going to have to pry him off you. He's like, she likes me better than you. So what I'm going to do is just give him a suggestion to go on this tarp here. I'm going to get him in mode here. So I'm giving him just a little pressure where I want him to go. I'm going to swing this a little bit to get him off that shoulder off. And allow, as soon as he goes where he wants to go, I take the pressure right back off. So I gave him a direction to go. I put a little pressure, and I add a little pressure with the with my stick and string here to allow him to go. Now he's as long as he's doing a positive thing, like checking out what I want, I let him go. I'm going to ask him to back up here and go right back up to what I'm asked, the scary thing or whatever. That didn't seem too scary for him. A lot of horses, that'd be a big deal. That'd be
The noise, the rattling, the color.
What we want all our horses, we want to be able to walk on whatever we tell them to walk on. Does that mean we're going to necessarily put them on a piece of plastic? No. But if I need to perform a police function, have to go somewhere where we don't normally go, I have to know that horse is going to do it. So a lot of times with our training too, I give him a break when he does what I want. And on that tarp I want, so I just leave him alone. I just leave him, yeah, he can check it out, he can play with it. And this is where the 4-year-old comes in, he just wants to play with it and see what's going on. So
but at least he's not afraid of it, and that's the key.
It's kind of making it worth the game. Now, did he do this probably when he first started? No, he was probably a little leery. But as long as he's making that forward progress, I take the pressure right back off. And the only time I put pressure on is when he can handle it. When I know he's ready for that pressure. I don't want to put pressure on. If he's scared, I'm not going to put pressure on him because it's making him more scared.
Right.
I'm going to let him put him, and I'm going to go up to where he's not scared and take it back off. We can go over to this tire here though and kind of see, because a lot of times we have to walk through, in, around, over. And this tire can be kind of tricky here. But he's thinking, oh, he wants me in that tire. So he's trying to go in the tire to please me there. So he's doing what I want, pressure off. We can ask him to stop right there, give him a nice pet, reward him for doing something big. Yeah, got his front feet in there. Can he get all 4 feet? Yeah, he can do it, but right now I just want you to know that you don't have to. You can just put 2 feet in there and relax. This is a new obstacle. Eventually we'll build up the riding over it, but right now,
so you're going to ride over this eventually?
Eventually, yeah, we'll be riding over this.
Okay.
But right now, I got to make sure he's confident with it, and there's no use of me getting up here and push us both, and him, like, if he comes off, if he does it by himself and figures it out, think how much easier it's going to be when I decide to ride over it. So that's a lot of groundwork. I can work with them on the ground to build their confidence. As a horse, he can do this. Now, I'm not micromanaging. I'm just telling him where he is in love with you.
Well, you know what? I might have to take him home.
I tell you. I mean, he usually don't pay. I mean, usually like, yeah, but he just like, oh, she fascinates me. So I'm just going to offer him the obstacle here, and I'm just letting him, he's in a great spot there. He's right where he needs to be. He's checking it out. I'm not going to do anything there. I'm just going to let him think about it.
And so he's going to get up on top of this.
That's our intention. We'll see what happens here. He's checking it out. As long as he's checking it out, I'm not doing anything. And let's see what happens here. Yeah, there. Okay. Now see how I'm not putting any pressure? The only pressure is him. So I'm just letting him figure this out himself. Now, the reason he does it, because he knows when he goes to an obstacle. Well, let's come on down off of here. There we go.
Good boy.
That was pretty nice.
That was great.
I don't think you can.
Great. Good boy.
There was actually very little pressure I was putting. I mean, it was just like, I'm here with you. You know, as long as you're here, we're going to go with it. I didn't have to, you know, he didn't start backing up. I didn't say, oh, no, wait. That was good. The way that works, though, is because all these little things he does, he wants to please me. He wants to do what he's supposed to do. So then when he sees something he hadn't seen before, in his mind, well, I've done that, he hasn't got me hurt, he's not gonna get me hurt on this. That allows you to do something a little more scarier with them. But you gotta start little to work up the big. So I wouldn't come out with a green horses, I'm gonna try this.
Exactly.
I'm gonna try something easier and get their confidence, where body language, he knows what I'm asking. And I thought I got to do a little bit more there, but.
Well, Rookie, you are you certainly are a nice horse. You are, and you're I think you've got yourself a good companion here, and I think
You better love
Lexington.
me. I'm your buddy. Yeah.
I think Lexington's fortunate to have him and you, and I really appreciate it.
Thank you very much, ma'am.